Hey everybody, it's Mr. Snake Eater, coming back at you with some more Bible talk. Well, maybe not Bible talk, I should say. More like answers. Now, throughout this video, I'm gonna ask that anyone who's watching this watch the whole video before they make judgment of me. This means that you watch through however long I make it, no matter what stupid thing I say, in your opinion at least, or if I just say something that's plain ridiculous. Now I'm going to get the two most plain ridiculous things out of the way first that would most likely get people off this video. The first one is I believe in magic, and the second one, I believe science in the Bible, science books in the Bible in general, have many things in common. Now that I got that out of the way, for those of you still here, I got a question to ask you. And for reasons I'll later explain, I'm not going to raise my own hand for this. Now then, how many of you believe it's a fact that the start of the universe was the Big Bang? Now, how many of you know it's a fact that God started the universe? Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't raise my hand during those. Now then, I ask you, why do you believe that? Now then, I can probably guess that a lot of the people who said Big Bang, because science says so, and I can guess that a lot of people who believe in the Bible say God, because the Bible said so. Now then, I want you to think about how both of those started, how the Big Bang started and how God created the universe. What caused the Big Bang? And I'm talking about the general explosion one, probably should have explained that later. The more commonly accepted one, the explosion one. I've said before that the Big Bang should be renamed the expansion theory because that's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, what caused the Big Bang? And how did God make the universe? Can anyone answer either one of those questions? And if you can, well, what caused the cause for the Big Bang? And how? Get going. You just keep on asking more questions. It's an endless cycle of questions. You can always ask another question. No matter how many answers you get, there's always more questions you can ask. This is why I didn't raise my hand earlier, because I can't tell you that it's a fact that the Big Bang happened. I can't tell you that God made the universe. It's only my belief, and to be frank, it's nothing more but faith. Just like evolution, just like God making people, they're just as much faith as anything else. No matter how far you think you might know the answers, there's always more questions to ask. That's why I find evolution as much as a joke as people who mock me for believing in God. I think evolution is much of a joke because, well, how did the first microorganism come to be? You can do the same thing with God. It's just the same question on how he created the universe, really. How did he create human beings? And in some cases, he may have actually used evolution. He may have actually just popped us up like that. He may have done anything. The Bible never really explained how God did any of it. He just says he did it. So now then, those of you who are still here, how many of you really changed your mind? Do you still think it's a fact that the Big Bang happened and that evolution happened, or that God made things? You guys still believe that? Now this is also going to go into explaining why I believe in magic. Now first, I'm going to ask you, what is magic? Well, my own personal belief of what magic is unexplained science. That's what I put it. Now you can see why I believe in magic. There's no real way to explain how the universe started or where people came from. We weren't there when the universe started, and we weren't there where people came to being people. That's why I say it's magic. That's why I say I believe in magic. Because it's probably the most rational explanation you can get. Funny, really. We live in a society today where we mock people who say they believe in magic. Then again, in most terms when people say magic, it's usually the kind from Harry Potter they're thinking about. But the kind I'm saying is just really unexplained science. Which is why I say magic is real. And this is why I'm also not going to say it's a fact that God created the universe, because I can't prove that. I can only have faith that He made the universe. Now then, I ask you, if you were to speak this stuff in public, let's say a science center saying evolution never happened, where they have like a bunch of reasons why evolution happened, or to say that God didn't create the universe in a church. Let's go with that. Let's go with those two scenarios. You can give as much proof as you want. In the end, those people aren't going to listen to you. You might get 1 or 2 people to follow you, but the majority of people that are going to those 2 separate spots aren't going to listen. Why? Well, you got more people to really say, this is right, this is right, this is right, this is right, on both ends. You can prove to 10 people that evolution is not wrong. Actually, you can show proof to 10 people that evolution is wrong. But as long as those 10 people stay together, they're just going to keep telling themselves, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. It's easier in life. And if I ever have said anything before, if I say anything crazy stupid, take this as the greatest truth you'll ever hear. People listen to other people. And if majority of people say this is how it happened, this is how it happened, majority of people are going to believe that's how it happened. It's easy to persuade one person than a group. As with a group, you need to persuade everyone within a certain reason, a certain standard of what everyone accepts. But when you get down to people as individual people themselves, it's a lot easier to persuade them because they're not a group. They're not going to accept something just because everyone else is accepting it. You can get their true selves out of them. This is why I relatively think it's a bad idea to really go and try and street preach. I mean, there are times and places for it, but I think it's more of a bad idea because a friend can just tell, hey, look at that crazy guy. And in the end, they're both just going to think he's crazy. Like some of you are probably going to be thinking for me for believing in magic and that science and that Bible have a lot of things in common. Speaking of which, I think it's time I get into that. Why do I think science and the Bible have things in common? Well, let's go back to the answers thing. I've already pretty much said that no matter what you do, you can't say anything started the earth as a fact. You weren't there. You can't say anything started a fact or how people came to be. Now then, there are 3 types of people in this world. The first kind, those who accept the lies that they are told. This is the majority of people. Majority of people fall into this category. Why? Because it's too hard to search for the truth. Next on the line is those who search for the truth. This is probably where minority of people go. The minority of people are the ones that search for the truth. And this is where the majority of people get their answer from. Is it not easier to have someone else do something for you than to do it yourself? The only problem with it is that it never gets done to your standards if you have someone else do it. This is also where the search for the truth becomes a problem as well. If someone is searching for the truth, you can almost guarantee they're going to find it. However, when I say truth though, I mean what they believe is the truth. So let's take me for example. If I went for searching for proof of God, I'm going to find that proof. But if I was looking for disproof of evolution, I'm going to find disproof of evolution. This works vice versa. This is why it's really hard to get answers, because our own minds give us what we want, what we're searching for. And on rare occasions, do they actually give us the actual truth. I could search for years for disproof of evolution, and I would keep finding proof after proof after proof. People who believe in it aren't going to believe me, because they've been searching years for proof after proof after proof. This is where the third category comes in of groups of people, and this is where I belong. People that just don't search because they know they can't find. See, when you stop searching, you're either one or two people. Ones who just accept the lies that are given to them, or the people who know they can't find what they're searching for. Once you stop searching for the truth, you're never going to find it. Once you stop searching for the answers, you're never going to find them. Even if you believe you have the answers, you'll never be able to find the true answers. This is where I say the Bible and the science book and science has some things in common. We get answers from them. Answers that we accept as fact. And we don't search any further for any more answers. We fool ourselves with the Bible and science into believing that we have what we got, what we came for. We are no different than our ancestors from 3,000 years ago. 2,000 actually. Now let's see. I don't remember the exact date of when this Galileo, I believe. Galileo was the guy that believed was the first person to propose that the earth was round. If I got the name wrong, the general idea of what I'm saying is it's still going to apply here. Majority of people did not believe him. It wasn't until later on that we really started to believe him. But majority of people, even though he probably did have proof at the time, I can't say what it is, but he probably did have some sort of proof. A lot of people chose to not believe him because it wasn't what was commonly believed. They had the answer they wanted for, and that was God created the universe. Not the universe, that the earth was flat. They got the answer of what they wanted. They didn't need another one. They stopped searching for the truth. And how are we any different? Because we say we have science, we know the truth. We are not different from our ancestors. We are just as foolish as they are. I am just as foolish as they are. You could probably give me a crown and I would be deemed the king of fools. This is why I accepted the fact that I'll never know how the universe started, how people came to be. It's beyond my knowledge to know this. I can have faith in how they came to be, but I cannot tell you that I know 100%. It's like that with almost anything you'll get your hands on. If you search for disproof of something, you're going to find disproof of it. If you want to disprove science, you're going to find proof that disproves science. Well, disproof the science you're trying to go to disprove. If you look for disproof against the Bible, you're going to find disproof against the Bible. If you want to search for the truth in history, well, you're going to find the truth you want in history. I once said that history will repeat itself, and it truly does. The when, how, why, they may change, but the what is always the same. Let's see if I'm forgetting something here. I think that the biggest thing I should probably mention now is history itself. Now, then I mentioned that history repeats itself, but I've kind of, if you watch my video, you might get a different answer of what I said back then and now. And actually, I'll put a link there for you guys to make it easier. Let's move it over here. That way it's not in my face. History is nothing but interpretation behind what the person who's looking into it. Meaning that whatever you find in history books, whatever you find in anything, comes from people who believed that this happened. They had faith that this happened. There's no real proof that we can prove anything in history really happened. For all we know, Benedict Arnold could have been really George Washington, and George Washington really could have been Benedict Arnold. Have you guys ever actually read 1983? In 1983 is this book about what would happen if the government became too powerful, really. And in the book, the political party, I think that's what they're actually called, it's just the party, I haven't finished reading it, but they were erasing history. They were putting it in a burner and then rewriting it. Whoever controlled the history book controlled the past. Whoever controlled these museums controlled the past, like the National History Museum. That's all just interpretation of what we believe the past to be like. You can find proof of that this and this happened, but it's not 100% right. This is why God says, put your faith in me. Because even God knew. Because God knew. I'm going to say knew. Actually, I should say I believe. I believe God knew that faith is something that all human beings have. There is no absolute truth in this world. I believe I don't have anything more to say. Later.